Hey guys, it's the Texan talking here. Welcome to a brand new episode. This evening, I am joined, of course, by my wonderful co-host, Rios, who I've been hanging out with all day, and it's getting annoying. So, Rios, let him know what's up, bud.
You know you love me. You can't get rid of me.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're like our little stray puppy that never left. But usually today, I'd be joined by our other co-host, Poppy, but unfortunately, he is not here today. Actually, let me change that. Fortunately, he's not here today. Thank God, because boy, he does bring us down, doesn't he? He drags us down. And
Crying about Barcelona. Can't blame him.
he's a big Barcelona fan, and he's out there crying right now. So that's why he didn't want to show up. Anyway, nonetheless, I am, however, joined by one of my favorites, Full Steam Ahead. These guys, I've been wanting to have them on for the longest time, and I'm so glad that they joined us today. The guys from Full Steam Ahead, guys, welcome to our podcast. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate you guys having here.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here as well.
Thank you. So let's get right into it. Let's talk some Astros. Boy, are we it's so fun having a team that goes to the play that plays on October, isn't it?
It is.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. All right. So really quick before let's how do you call it? What do you guys think? Who would you rather face, first of all, in the ALDS? Would you rather have the Mariners or the Blue Jays?
Well, you want to go on that one first?
Yeah, I'll go. I honestly, I don't hate either of these matchups. I know you look at the Astros record against Seattle this season, and that's encouraging, right? Won that season series, especially after the All-Star break, going out to Seattle, sweeping them out there, having them at home, winning that series. But I think I'm going to take the Blue Jays. I just think that when you look at the Seattle rotation, their rotation is much stronger than the Blue Jays rotation just up front. And while the Blue Jays have a very potent lineup with those young stars they have, I have the faith in our pitching. Our pitching has been our strength. We got to lean on that and lean on that against a tough lineup if we have to. But I think Toronto's pitching is just weaker in their starters across the board. Obviously, Alek Manoah is a Cy Young candidate, but Kevin Gossman's there and he's solid, but something we can get after. And then especially once we get into the third, if we had in the third game, and then if we had to go further to get to a fourth or fifth starter, I like our chances against the Blue Jays better, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna just piggyback on him on that real quick. Their Seattle's starting rotation, I've already repeated myself so many times on that. They had Luis Castillo at the trade deadline, which is probably one of the best starters from that Reds team, honestly. George Kirby is a rookie as well. He's been getting hot. Logan Gilbert, we've seen his stuff. He has it there. He was a top 10 prospect as well. Yeah. And Robbie Ray, of course. Robbie Ray's a Cy Young Award, former Cy Young Award winner. Obviously, we've done pretty well against him through the seasons, but that doesn't matter when we get into the postseason. Everything's going to start from scratch, from zero. So I agree. Seattle is probably not where I want to go. Blue Jays is the route I chose as well, just because that lineup too. That lineup's pretty deep, pretty scary as well. But like Will was saying, that pitching really doesn't tack up into like Seattle's. Alex Manoah has been doing great. He's probably going to be a Cy Young candidate this coming year. Kevin Gossman, he's had his ups and downs. Jose Barrios, we've seen him in Minnesota as well. So there's nothing new with that. And like Will said, with the game 4, game 5 stars, we're not going to know. The plus side with us too is when we're in the ALDS, we got the bye. Obviously, both teams are going to throw their, aces, their game 1, game 2 starters. And then after that weekend, come Tuesday, they got to throw somebody else. So that's the main thing too as well. But I like Seattle. I'm not Seattle, Toronto as well than the Seattle Mariners.
And on that note too, just hope that wild card game takes all 3 games. That series takes all 3 games.
No, I agree with you guys on that one. I think the Blue Jays might be the better option because if you guys remember at the beginning of the year, like we struggled for not just the beginning, like we struggled against Seattle. Like they had our number for like Yeah, yeah, they just had our number from the get-go, and it was like you couldn't beat Seattle. Like that was a team that you couldn't beat. And so that to me that makes me wonder. I hope that that's not the case when we get if that's the team that goes into us against us, excuse me, in the ALDS. I just hope that it doesn't get as complicated as it was like at the beginning of the season, because like you guys said, they're they got some folks over there that can pitch. So yeah, I honestly believe if I were to choose those two teams also, I would rather face the Blue Jays rather than the Mariners.
No, agreed. They had our number at the beginning of the year until the All-Star break, and they haven't made the postseason in 21 years, so they're riding that momentum. And if they win the first playoff game, that's a lot of momentum. And sometimes that's all you need to win a series. And I'd rather not face that, for being honest.
Yeah, they're like on a little hot streak right now too. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Riding that momentum again. They beat us a few times this year where I was also kind of worried. Like we're beating these teams, but yeah, we still can't beat the Mariners. If you remember that
Yeah.
also at the beginning of the season, we're beating these hard, difficult teams, and then suddenly when it came to like the Mariners or
Right.
teams that were even like the Rangers that were like
Mhm.
below 500 or anything like that, we were like struggling against them for some reason. Like I was at the Oakland game and in Oakland, and it should have been an easy defeat, and we got it handed to us. So yeah, that's what kind of scares me about going into the LDS if we have the Mariners up there. So, and of course they're going to talk all that smack because they are pretty cocky.
Yeah,
So
I think another key thing too is to watch Julio Rodriguez. If this
Mhm.
guy starts hitting the ball really well, it's gonna feed off on the other players. If he's a
Yep.
little cold, of course, as well too, he has that back injury. He's had back tightness for probably this whole season. After
Mhm.
the All-Star break, he was dealing with a thumb injury, so he's been kind of dealing with some injuries and everything like that. So that's gonna be a key, thing to watch during that series. But I mean, too, that Seattle lineup was pretty good. Ty France should have been the starting first baseman for that All-Star game. Of course, Julio Rodriguez, we know what he does. Can't forget about Jesse Winker. Jesse Winkler was an All-Star last year with the Reds. He hit over 300 with them last year as well. They still got some guys over there that could hit too. So that's the biggest thing. They got pitching, they got hitting. I think that's who probably honestly could really kill us in the postseason if we have to face them over like anybody else.
Correct. Yeah, no, definitely. Let's see. Another thing that Rios and I were talking earlier today is uh who do you guys think is going to end up making that pitching rotation for it going into the ALD in the postseason?
Lorenzo, you want to start?
Well, for starting rotation, I mean, you should already know the top four should be JV, Framber.
Yeah.
You can either do because there's been debate on going who's going to go game 3, who's going to go game 4. Obviously, it's going to either
Mhm.
be Javier or McCullers. So that's all set up. It's just the bullpen. The bullpen is probably one
Yeah.
of the most toughest situation. That's just credit to the pitching staff as well, getting that depth in that bullpen. But you already know Stanek's going to be locked. Presley's going to be
Yeah.
locked. Montero's going to
Mhm.
be locked. Abreu's been having a good season. You could tell Will I wasn't a big fan of Abreu. Brian Abreu has been probably one of the most non-Astros I didn't really like. Obviously I'm gonna say that.
Mhm.
After that, it's just I think Luis Garcia is gonna get into that postseason after like the dominance that he's been doing all his 7 starts. I believe he's had 7 starts.
Mhm.
He did pretty well. Hunter Brown. Hunter Brown's another one I think
Yeah.
that's gonna make it because he has been showing after getting that last start in Detroit. He obviously went into a bullpen role. He's done pretty well. We've seen the stuff that he has. He was a top prospect in our farm system for a reason. Even Sugarland had put him one time. He was supposed to start a game, and then they put him in the bullpen. They scratched him off that day to put him in the bullpen. Then he could work out of it. So I thought that was pretty good. But coming into Houston, being in that bullpen role in high leverage situations too, he's been pretty damn good. So I think he's locked up a spot too. So what comes into place now, it's either Urquidy, Will Smith,
Yeah.
Phil Maton, Seth Martinez.
Mhm.
And am I missing anybody else? I think them are the only four I could think of the top of my head. Right
Yeah,
now,
Neris,
Hector Neris, Hector Neris is a lock,
Yeah.
I believe too.
Yeah.
So really them three, it's Will Smith, Phil Maton, Jose Urquidy, and Seth Martinez, actually foreman. Man, I think Dusty's probably gonna want that lefty in there. So that's why I'm probably gonna lean towards Will Smith after that bad outing he had. Was it Tuesday? Not Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday night.
Yeah, Tuesday's night.
He gave
Tuesday
up the
night,
no hitter, but
Yeah.
you know, for his he gave up those 3 hits and then got out of a bases loaded jam with no runs scored. So he shows upside, and I
Yeah.
think, like you said, he'll end up squeaking on just for the lefty positional that role, to be the lefty guy, which is what we saw him in that role in the 9th inning on Tuesday night. He had 3 lefties in a row in the Philadelphia lineup, and so that's why he comes out in the 9th, and of course, loses the no hitter. But I think that's a good glimpse at what we're going to see out of him moving forward in the postseason.
I give him credit though. That was a good pitch that he threw. It was way outside. Just Garrett Stubbs just threw the bat out there, hit it to center. But I think them guys are really locked in. Just Seth Martinez. I was telling Will he has great numbers against right-handed hitters.
Yes,
We're gonna face
he does.
if we face Toronto, that lineup is deadly. Just right-handed deadly. Just the whole lineup. I believe. I don't even know if there's one lefty in that lineup.
I don't think so.
I don't think so
Yeah,
either.
I don't think so.
Phil Maton, I mean, he has his. I mean, we've talked about it. He has his good days. He has his bad days. But I honestly,
Inconsistencies.
so I honestly think what I had said after Will Smith, I think that's gonna be it. I don't know what you're thinking, Will. I don't know what y'all guys think as well too.
Yeah, I gotta say, there's times when I get up, when I see Will Smith, I'm like, ooh, what's gonna happen? It's like almost you're holding on tight. And honestly, I have the same feeling with Maton as well. Like, what's gonna happen? Who are we gonna get today? And so that's what kind of worries me. But yeah, I understand the reason, that you do need a lefty. So that's I agree with you on that. I think that's the reason why he tagged along, because of the lefty part. I do like almost like panic or freak out a little bit again when he's up on the mound, because you never know what you're gonna get. Like, yes, I was there yesterday's game when I saw that, and when he messed up the no hitter, like everybody was like booing him. It was crazy. And then, like you guys said, he got out of that jam. So it's like, okay, like I guess that he's like aware of it. And then, I mean, it also, like you said, Lorenzo, it all depends, because it is the postseason. It's a fresh start, and if it's anything like we saw with the Braves, maybe he's clutch in the postseason too. We don't know. So I'm hoping that's the kind of Will Smith that we get. If he tags along, obviously, but that's what I'm hoping for. What about you, Rios?
I think I agree with Lorenzo's list mostly. But I would switch out Luis Garcia for Urquidy. Urquidy's the one with the World Series win.
Oh yeah, definitely. Three World Series wins in franchise history.
Yeah. I think with Luis Garcia, like with him, like sometimes he takes a little too long to get warmed up, and that's great in the regular season, but in the postseason, every game counts. And I don't know if he can operate out of the bullpen. Like with Urquidy, he can either be a starter if someone gets hurt, or he can be a long reliever. I don't know if Luis Garcia can, fill that role, because he takes a long time to get warmed up. And sometimes, they get contact on him, they get on base, they score runs on him. So I'd rather see Urquidy out there, because he's the one with the big game experience.
Yeah, the game that I went to go see in Oakland, Luis Garcia was starting, so I was like, oh, this will be a pretty good matchup. And then he started getting a few runs. He started walking a few guys at first, and then he started getting some runs, some hits, and then it just kind of, he never really recovered from that particular game. So that's what kind of scares me about Luis Garcia also. So I agree with you on that. I think Urquidy would be a much better choice, in my opinion. So yeah. All right. Well, now let's talk a little bit about, let's get a little personal here. How did you guys end up coming up with the podcast?
It just kind of happened one day. I know it was kind of the way I remember it. And Lorenzo, I kind of give your side. I was Walmart parking lot, and I get a Twitter DM from Lorenzo, who we went to A&M together, like we've known each other for years.
Oh, nice.
And it was when Jared Carabas, whatever, he had announced his like Red Sox podcast, and Lorenzo sent it to me, and he was like, "Why don't we do this?" And I said, "Okay, let's do it." And so we just kind of, at the season had already started. I think that was the first game of the season, or right after that first series, something like that.
Yeah.
And so we just said, okay, let's do it. And so we just kind of threw it together and figured it out as we went. But it's been really fun. It's been a fun journey over the course of this year. It's been a learning experience for sure.
Yeah, like date back to our first episode, we're like trying to do everything. I didn't even have the right audio. I was just doing it through my AirPods and everything. So I just didn't know how to do it at first. But like Will said, I mean, you just get practice, you get used to it and everything like that. But yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to have been doing the Astros podcast for a while. I've been wanting to do this since college, like when our college days. We graduated in 2020. I've been wanting to do this since 2019 when they made that run to the World Series again. But yeah, I mean, we enjoyed it. I mean, we're just talking about Astros, and just not the Astros. We're just talking about baseball. I think that's the biggest thing when it comes to these things. We just want to be just talking about all Astros and everything like that. You know, we want to go what's happening around the league, what's happening around the National League, American League. Obviously, Pujols getting 700, Judge getting 62, Baker getting 3,000 strikeouts. I mean, there's been a lot of history through the game, and we just wanted to emphasize people out there that haven't seen it. You know, if they haven't seen it, obviously they could catch one of our episodes and we'll have mentioned it, and they're like, oh, okay, well, we got it. So yeah, I mean, it's been a fun journey, and we're probably going to be, doing this for a while now.
Awesome. I had a question. How'd you guys come up with the name?
Yeah.
It was kind of a long process. I don't know. We went back and forth. I bet we threw around what 30 different names back and forth. But we decided, because we were like, and we were just spitballing, and we were like, do we want to be something, juice box? But there were already some juice box pods, or what do we want to theme it? And somehow we decided on like the train. We were like, train, Union Station, the train tracks above center field. Let's do something train related. And then I don't know, it just kind of landed here.
Yeah, at first it was
my
full.
phone tries to autocorrect it though.
Yeah, at first it was full steam ahead, and then I think Will had mentioned about doing, hey, let's do seam, for the seams off of baseball and everything like that. So yeah, and like to say what Will said, I mean, we just threw a bunch of names. We thought about Crawford boxes, we thought about Towels Hill, but there's climbing Towels Hill already. There's a bunch of Crawford boxes, juice box podcast is out there. We wanted to do something unique, something different that nobody has really used, and that's when full steam ahead. The colors as well on our photo, and resemblance the colors throughout the history of the Astros. Obviously, we have a cream around the circle, I believe, from the jerseys back in the 80s. Of course, the tequila sunrise colors as well, the rainbow stripes. But yeah, I mean, that's how we started, just trying to pick up ideas, names, and everything like that. And we just both kind of clicked on full steam ahead.
Not like it.
That's awesome.
You guys mentioned there's not a lot of ones that are focused on the train. Like I think that's the only one that I've heard so far that's focused on the train.
Might be.
Yeah, no, it's good symbolism. Like when I came across, like I think so. When did you guys start? We started in March of this year. When did you guys start?
Opening weekend
this year. It was April.
That first week, yeah.
It was in April. I can't remember the first.
Like April 8th.
Is it the second
9th.
weekend? I mean, the second week of April.
Remember, it got pushed back. Opening week got pushed back, so it was like
pushed back
in April.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes because I remember when I was starting ours in March. You don't know the process. Like we didn't know anything what needs to be done. And even to this day, we always still have like technical mic problems, and we've been doing them through Zoom because the audio works. Like I have a decent mic, but like whenever we record together somehow, my mic sounds robotic and echoey, and I was like, okay, you know what, we're gonna do it through Zoom, and this way it's a unified sound. So we had those problems also to begin with. Getting somebody who does graphics was like things that you don't expect. Like you would think that they were easy to begin with, and they're like, "Oh, this looks cool. Let's get this." And then you just, "Oh no,
Yeah.
how do you make this?" Just
Oh,
basic
yeah.
things like yeah, basic things like you said. It's been a ride too. And I remember seeing you guys post something. I was doing something with like just posting stuff about the Astros, and I remember seeing y'all's like certain posts, and I was like, "Huh, I like these guys' posts." So I started clicking on them, and I was also I was also trying to see, okay, I listened to different podcasts to see, okay, how, these guys do this, these guys do that, these guys do that kind of a thing. And you get ideas to try to see how people do their podcasts and how you can, make it unique in your own. And so I remember I started listening to you guys and I was like, wow, they're so, because y'all, one of the things that we still that we still need to do, that we still lack, is giving some like more like stats and stuff like that, and you guys are like good on that. Y'all are like on it. That's what I love about y'all show. Y'all are like stat friendly.
I'm like,
And
man, it's
yeah, they're like on, like they know their stuff. And me and Rios and Poppy, whenever we're doing our thing, obviously we just do it. We talk our smack, we roast each other here and there, and so we're like more of in the, and so I was like, I one of the things was like, I told these guys, I was like, you know what? I like how they do like their show, because they're stat crazy, and I love that. I think that's awesome. And like you guys said, it's not just Astros. You guys go, all throughout the MLB as well. So it's really good to see that you guys are for us, obviously from here, and obviously the fact that you guys just go all out. That's why I'm a really big fan of y'all's podcast, and so I think what y'all are doing is amazing, honestly.
yeah.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we've done some different segments. We've done buy and sell and everything like that. We try to get
Yeah.
the engagement on Twitter, because I mean that was the only social media we started off. I don't know if we're planning to go, more than that. Probably discussion later on. And then we've done we used to do this segment. It was what we need to see, what we want to see, what we don't want to see. It's been a while since we've done that. I can't even shoot. What do you think? May, June? I think we stopped doing that, I want to say.
No, we were still doing it. We were
Was
still
it-
doing it in like early July.
Early July. Yeah,
We
but that, I mean,
stopped when you went to the All-Star break. When you went to the All-Star game, that was the last time we did it.
okay. Yeah. So we used to do that, and just looking at the matchups as well, going against different teams, or we're going against the Yankees. Of course, we don't want to see Judge continually hitting bombs for them.
Right.
Obviously, who we want to see get hot. That's been code in like enduring stretch of them 7 games or 15 game periods and everything like that. So I mean, it's just different things, just different types of ideas we try to come up with just to make our the podcast and the episodes more engaged, fan engaged, really.
Yeah. No, completely understandable. Our main hook used to be beer of the week, and it's been we drew away from that for a while, so we might ended up bringing it back again soon. But yeah, we it's like we got busy. We've been having a lot of guests, which has been awesome. I love the fact that it's always great when we have guests, because you get to know A, more about them, and B, I mean, you get to know people. Like since we started this podcasting, we've met so many people that we didn't even know existed out there, and I thought that was pretty cool that that you get to interact with just different people that are from other places. We have our Sunday pregame shows, and we have people like with right before the Texans game start. We've been talking to people from California, from New York, like you name it, like people we didn't know existed. And so I think that's a positive from it, that the people that you get to meet and things like that. So that's just what we're taking from it as well. So it's been a fun run so far. We're not going anywhere either. I'm just saying it's been pretty good. So like I said, it's again, I'm really glad to have you guys on. So let's see. By the way, before we move on to something else, who's y'all's favorite Astro of all time?
All time. It's either Altuve or Biggio.
Yeah, mine's Jose Altuve. It's hard to say no.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me because I mean, I grew up watching number 7, 98 through them years. Of course, I didn't get to see him back in the early 90s, but I mean, that was my favorite player growing up, watching Craig Biggio, especially again that I remember where I was when he got his 3,000 hit. I was camping on the Frio River. I was about 8 years old, and I was listening to the 3,000 hit on a freaking radio. And I was just
Wow.
looking at my
Old
mom.
school.
I'm like, very old school. I was like looking at her. I'm like, you see what we missed? We could have been there. But Altuve for me too. I mean, I'm 5'6", 5'5", played high school ball. Of course, our size, my color as well, being Mexican, Hispanic.
Yeah.
It just showed out their size don't matter, to these kids. And, everybody now bashing him, which is the most really selfish and stupidest thing
Yeah.
that they could do. And
Agreed.
this guy is showing everybody what he's about. He's obviously done so much for the city of Houston. Even the communities as well for little leaguers. Like they look up to him because they don't think, there's some people that might not grow to be 6'7", 6'5", 6'10", being able to play, baseball at a tall, I guess, kind of height.
Right.
Like us guys, like, well, for me, instance, I mean, I played high school ball, college ball, and everything like that. And, you see me and you're like, oh, you're licking your chops because, you got a small strike zone, but you probably could be the easiest guy to get out. So, I mean, that was one of the biggest things when I was Jose Altuve being my favorite player.
No, you're absolutely right on that, man. It is very shameful that he's going through what he is when he gets booed out by people. I don't know if you did you. No, because I forgot he didn't go to the All-Star break. But when I was in Oakland, people were just like booing him out, saying all these
Oh,
things. They were
yeah.
doing the same thing about.
Yeah.
It was awful. Like you get to see it and then you feel bad because those are you guys, and they don't see exactly what they do, like you said, for little leaguers, for the inspiration that they are to other how do you call it, other players. And what's funny is that even though people are doing all that, he's still in Oakland was signing autographs for kids there that didn't even have his jersey on, that just had whatever player they were going with, but he was still going out there and doing it. So that, to me, that shows character also. That's the kind of person he is. I personally, I am don't get me wrong, it's such a close second, but I'm gonna go with Biggio on this one. Reason for it is I grew up watching Biggio play. So this might seem like nothing. There's a little banner right behind me. I got that in 19. I don't know if you see it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I got that in 1997. My dad got it for me at an academy because I like I like Biggio. Years later, like by 2011, 2012, I was working retail at a tool store, and I'm just there, it's like early morning, it was like the job that, you do right while you're in college or whatnot, and just to get, to pay for college. And I'm there, and I see this guy come up and he's like, hey, do you have any wheels for a wagon? And like a little inner tube. And I was like, yeah. And I looked and it's Biggio. And
Wow.
yeah, I have a
That's pretty damn cool.
I took yeah, he was there several times. He would go there pretty often, because I think at the time that's when Kavan was playing at, I can't remember where he was playing, but I think he was like playing high school. He was playing like in high school ball at the time, and so he was he would bring we would sell like the wagons or whatnot for them to carry stuff. So he would go in and always buy like wheels, because they would, since they have like inner tubes in them, they would obviously they would go flat or whatever. So he was always constantly going. So I got to meet him about 6, 7, 8 times. I can't remember, but he was always going there.
Wow.
And so that was fun. I have my pictures with him and everything. I'll show it with you guys later on. But it was great seeing him. And he's like the nicest dude ever. Like nothing like, yo, where's my tubes? Bye, leave me alone, kind of thing. He was like, oh, thanks, whatever. And when I asked him, is it okay if I take a picture with you? Yeah, man, come on, let's go. And he was like, he seemed very welcoming. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I thought that was awesome. So that's why, to me, Biggio is my all-time favorite. And this year for my birthday, my girlfriend got me the old school Biggio jersey. So I was like, I love
Nice.
you. I was like, and so it was just awesome. But I'm gonna go with Biggio. Definitely Altuve, to me, is like a close second. No.
No, for
Rios,
me,
what about you?
well, for me, it used to be Biggio because again, I grew up watching it, but then over the years, it's Altuve. Like just his story, like
Yeah.
he tried out for the team. They didn't pick him up, and he tried out again, and
Yeah.
they just take a chance on this little guy. And I mean,
Yeah.
look what he's done. Like you look at
Yeah.
like you look at guys like Aaron Judge, 6'8", and you see Altuve, 5'6". You're thinking, oh, the big guys would be the better here. No, it's the little 5'6" Venezuelan guy that's just hard to get out. Like he swings at the first pitch. It doesn't matter how high, how low he's very aggressive at the plate, and just his story and just his grace. Like he gets booed, and then the same people that booed him, you go and sign their ball or sign their jersey,
Yeah.
or whatever. And
No.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, man, he's a class act all around.
Yeah. He's definitely. I'm just lucky that we have him. It's awesome that somebody took a chance on him, and now look, it's definitely paid off for the Astros in the long run, and it's just been a great ride with Altuve. So
When he's close to 3,000 hits, I'm gonna be in that stadium. I don't care what stadium. I'm gonna
Oh, we were just talking about whenever he retires,
Yeah.
because we're talking about Yachty and Pujols and Wainwright the other episode. And I told Will, I was like, man, when it comes to that time of him retiring,
we're going.
we
we're
are
going.
going. I am shedding a tear. I don't care if you look at me, a grown guy crying like that. I mean, because he meant so much to this ball club, to the history, bringing the
Right.
first World Series championship trophy to Houston during a travesty of Hurricane Harvey. So, I mean, they don't know how important Jose Altuve is to us. And I mean, I just wish everybody would see what he's done, not just on the field, but off the field as well.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Definitely a Houston icon. He's getting the statue built outside Minute Maid Park.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, there's definitely a statue. Will, did you?
They're
did you
gonna
tell
name
us
a
who was
street
your
after
favorite?
him.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah, the Altuve boxes. It's something.
Altuve
He's
boxes.
gonna
Yeah,
have
honestly,
the Altuve boxes. Yeah, but it definitely. Let's trademark that. We started it. No, but Lorenzo, if you're crying, we're all going to be crying at the same time with you, so we're good. I think there'll be several tears shed that day, so we're good. We won't leave you alone on that one. No, yeah, definitely. It's always. Will, did you share who was your? I'm sorry. Did you share who was your favorite? You said Altuve,
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue with
Yeah.
Altuve, but when I was a kid, Lance Berkman was my man. That was my dude.
Lance.
I got my signed
Big
ball from him
Puma.
over there somewhere. Kind of similarly to how Altuve, inspired all the little guys out there. Lance Berkman made sure there was room in this world for us big boys.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Tell me about it, man.
He was a trailblazer. he let him know, the big Puma. So no, I always loved Lance Berkman. I don't know, something about him. I had a brief phase when I was little when Jeff Kent was on the Astros, when I was obsessed with him. A huge Jeff Kent fan, was an Astro, but Berkman and Altuve, those are my two ride or dies right there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Those the Killer Bees, I remember that too. That Killer Bee series.
And then Beltran,
Man, that was amazing.
Oh man.
Yeah. Oh, he came back. Don't worry, he came back. So
He made a huge impact, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. So that was because at the time I used to like Beltran, and then I think when he left, I think if I'm not mistaken, did he go to the Mets?
Yeah.
He went to
the
He went to the Mets. Yeah, he played. Yeah, and so but I like Carlos Beltran. Honestly, the main reason why it was because he had my first name, Carlos. So I'm like, okay, well, that was the thing. That was a connection, which is very vague. But then you realize, oh wow, he's actually a pretty good player. And so when he left, because I remember seeing that, and I remember seeing Roger Clemens too when he was pitching that 05 series. Like it was, we had a pretty good team. It was good to have him on there. All right, so right now, where we start, I know you guys are Houston fans. Do you guys watch the Texans or follow the Texans a lot or no?
I'm
Will,
a
you wanna
Cowboys
tell 'em?
fan. Stu me. I'm a Cowboys fan.
Well, that's all the time we have here. No.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm a Texans fan though.
Yeah.
What you call it? But I don't think Davis Mills is our future quarterback, honestly.
Thank
No.
David Pierce is our running back. He reminds me of
Yes.
Arian Foster.
Mhm.
Man, like
Davis Mills, though, I mean, I've tried to stay on the Mills militia, whatever you want to say about him.
Mills Mafia.
Mills Mafia too. I mean, it's just too difficult right now. Every time it's always these close games. This whole season's been close games, and he just cannot show up when it like the spotlight's on him. So I mean, it might be looking like CJ Stroud or
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
Bryce
Yeah,
Young.
maybe them too.
That's what we were looking at a mock draft that PFF had literally just a few minutes ago, and they took obviously the Texans in first place in the draft, and they had them draft CJ Stroud out of Ohio. So, which I like the pick, but now I know it sounds cliche, but you know how Ohio State quarterbacks are in the NFL; they don't translate too well over, and so that's the thing that kind of worries me a little bit. But maybe he's the guy that breaks it. You know, you never know. However, yeah, I agree. I'm entitled to agree with you, Lorenzo. It's just I was also in that wagon of, you know what? I'm going to follow and see how our boys Mills does, but the more I see him, I was a little bit more optimistic than Reels just straight up didn't knew
I can tell right away.
But,
He ain't it.
yes,
No.
we know. And so I was trying to be optimistic. I was, and after seeing how those bad decision-making skills, like right at the end of those winnable games against against the Colts, against the Broncos, against the Bears, those little mistakes that were costly, it just made me realize, you know what, this is probably not the guy. This is definitely not the guy. I wish we were like kind of like the Cowboys right now. They had Cooper Rush. and then they're like 3-0
Clutch.
with
Cooper Clutch.
Cooper Clutch, nice. Yeah,
That comes out of a job.
So yeah, it basically kicked back out of a job on that one. But
Yeah,
all
no
right,
kidding.
now, Will, let me ask you this: do you think it's because most teams don't really have much tape, or see, I said tape like I'm old school, more such film on Cooper like they do on Dak? Do you think that may be a reason why?
No, I think to be completely honest, the Cowboys are winning right now because of their defense.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And the defense alone. Like I don't think that, and I think especially we get a little further in, the Cowboys start playing, depending on how long Cooper Rush is in. That's not gonna fly when you start playing better offenses and offenses that have seen the Dallas defense on tape more. Because I mean, it's not like Cooper Rush is lighting the scoreboard up. He's got some passing ability, but he's not a deep threat. With Michael Gallup coming back, you would think that adds some offensive explosiveness to the Cowboys, but Cooper Rush doesn't have the arm to maximize, those deep threats. Zeke is what Zeke is at this point. I don't know. I really don't know where you go with him. If he doesn't really start showing out, I'm thinking he's probably going to get cut in the offseason just to get out of that.
Yeah.
I don't have a lot of faith in the Cowboys. I think the 3-1 mark is not really a 3-1 mark. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we'll see where it goes, but the defense does look good for what it's worth.
Yeah, defense is pretty good. They're great at. I think they're better than ours anyway. Ours is okay, but y'all's defense is actually pretty legit. How do you call it? Yeah, I agree with you with Zeke. I think he's done after the season. It's one of the predictions that I made earlier this year. I was like, I think Zeke is done. But I think that Pollard. Yeah, I think Real say he was going to be benched by bye week. I think your backup Pollard is going to take it from there. I like Pollard.
Yeah,
So Pollard's pretty legit. So I think I'm putting my eggs in that basket right there, in the Pollard basket. So I think he's going to be the next guy up, because I think I started seeing flashes of him. And wasn't he in Hard Knocks when y'all were when y'all were in Hard Knocks? I think it was Pollard on there. I can't remember. Or maybe confusing. I can't remember.
I'm not sure. I didn't watch Hard Knocks.
No, you're good. But I've seen like how he plays, because I have him on my fantasy right now as a bench player, because I'm like hoping, eventually Zeke's gonna be out, so I'm gonna have him on there. And so I honestly, in the plays that I've seen Pollard do, like they've been pretty explosive. So I think he's gonna be the next guy up after Zeke like leaves, or they just decide to bench him after that. But yeah, Rios as a whole. Go ahead, Rios. Just unleash your Mills hate.
I was going to compliment Pollard, but I think he's a more dynamic back. He brings a dimension that just Zeke doesn't have it at this point. He has the juice. He's able to catch out the backfield. he's not the biggest guy, but he can still break tackles. Zeke is, a
Mhm.
north-south runner at this point, but he just can't seem to break tackles anymore. Like usually it's the first man gets him down, or they grab him by the shoestrings. He doesn't look like the guy that dominated the league as a rookie, which is
No.
Yeah.
and it's
Mm-mm.
5 years ago. This is crazy. He's still in his not early 20s, like mid-20s now, but as soon as he got paid, man, he just nosedive as far as production.
And I mean, I think he put a lot on his tires in his first few seasons too. Like
He
if you go
did.
look at how many carries he had in those first 2 or 3 seasons, and on and off with injuries and stuff like that. So I don't know, and I think that like you said, Tony Pollard's great in some of those snaps from him. I think they got to figure out how to scheme the two of them together better.
Yeah.
Like when and where you want to use them, but.
Yeah, no, for sure. Definitely. I hope, I really do hope Pollard gets it. I understand. Yeah, it's like you said, Zeke did use a lot of his tires early on in his career, which kind of, in a way, it kind of scares me like that with Damian Pierce. You know what I mean? But you
Mhm.
got to still use your guy. You still got to use your guy. No matter what. I remember Lorenzo brought up Arian Foster earlier today, and I mean, excuse me, a little bit earlier, and Foster gave us some of the greatest memories that we could think of. Still the best running
Here's the
back that
guy.
the Texans have had,
Yeah.
and we were spoiled. That guy spoiled us, and like you said, it's I think he's going to be the best running back that we've had since Arian Foster. So I have nothing but praise for Damian Pierce for
Damn.
sure. The future looks bright with him and in the offense with him on it. So it's definitely better. Now we do a little segment here. It's called basically we do our week 5 predictions based on absolutely nothing. And so for whatever reason, we just kind of choose them. So last week I ended up getting all of them right except for 2 games. I missed 2 games, but all of my predictions kind of came true, which was
Wow.
great except for those 2 games. I know it's crazy. Again, it's based off of nothing. So we're gonna do a little bit of predictions really quick. So I'm gonna put you down, Rios, Carlos. We got Will and Lorenzo, and I'm gonna say the upcoming week 5 games, and y'all let me know who you think. You don't have to give me a reason why. Just let me know who do you think is going to win. First up, we got the Thursday night game tomorrow on Prime. We got the Indianapolis Colts versus the Denver Broncos. Rios, who you got?
Man, that game is gonna set football back about 50 years. Oh, I'm gonna go Broncos.
Broncos. All right.
Yes,
Broncos.
buddy.
Okay. Yeah, it's anybody's game on that one. I'm gonna go with they don't. I'm gonna go with the Broncos also because they don't have the Colts don't have Jonathan Taylor. He's out.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a big weapon that's going to be missed, and obviously the defense isn't what we thought was supposed to be this year. So that's the reason I'm going with the Broncos. Will, what about you, bud? Who do you think's going to win?
Yeah, I'll take the Broncos too. I think it's going to be an ugly game. I think just disgusting game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be filthier than Lance McCullers as well. All right, so and so okay, so Broncos. Will Lorenzo, who you got, bud?
Broncos country. Let's ride.
Broncos. There you go. So Broncos all the way through. Makes sense. I agree with that. All right. Next, we're looking at it's a London game. It's an early game. We got the New York Giants versus the Green Bay Packers. Okay. Let me see. Giants, Green Bay. Rios, we got.
I'm gonna go Packers. Yeah, just Packers. Aaron Rodgers.
Packers?
He's starting to turn it around. Even without a number 1 receiver, he's making his other guys look pretty good. So I'm gonna go Aaron Rodgers and Packers.
I'm gonna agree with you on that. I think the Packers actually pull it off again. It's like Aaron Rodgers heard us talk mess about him not having a receiver. Suddenly his team is good again. So I'm gonna go with Green Bay. I think, and I think Will agree with me on this one. I don't think the Giants are for real. So I think the Giants are just a bad team.
Well, I'll take the New York Football Giants in this one. I really will. I'll take the Giants.
What?
Wow, what a
think the
Cowboys
Packers-
fan you!
I-
What a we them boys
I
fan you are.
know.
I know, right?
I don't think the
What
Packers
happened?
are all that good. They barely escaped the Patriots last week, and the Patriots are bad. I think going all the way out to London, I think Saquon's gonna show off in London. It's got that written all over it for me. I think this is gonna be these London games are always ugly. They're always low scoring, and I'll
Yeah.
take the Giants and I'll take Saquon and Danny Dimes over a team with no wide receivers.
All right. Well,
Saquon's been
how does it
impressive.
feel? How does it feel?
I said at the beginning of the year, Saquon stays healthy, he's gonna have a breakout season, and it's a contract.
I
year.
think so
Yeah.
too.
Definitely.
Yeah. Lorenzo, who you got, buddy?
I got Packers. I'm gonna go on this one. Y'all gotta start looking fantasy. Romeo Dobbs.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
starting
Romeo-
to look
yeah.
like he's looking like the number one receiver over there. With Aaron Rodgers now having Devontae Adams gone.
Mhm.
Don't sleep on
Mhm.
Alan Lazard either. If Alan Lazard could stay healthy too, he could be a good freaking receiver for him. But yeah, start looking at Dobbs because it's looking like, yeah, I mean, he's been getting a lot of targets lately from Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers had looked at him a lot in preseason. So I'm gonna go with Pack on this one.
Okay. Yeah. I agree exactly 100%. Yeah, he's definitely look out for that in fantasy because little sleeper right there. All right. Then after that, we got Pittsburgh versus Buffalo. I guess they new quarterback for Pittsburgh. Let's put that into consideration. Rios, who you got?
Buffalo by a lot, at least 30
Yeah.
30-point victory. It's gonna be bad for the Steelers.
I am inclined to agree with you. I think the Bills take it. Josh Allen's just he's awesome.
Freak.
He's another level right now. So I'm gonna go with the Bills also for that reason. Will, who you got, buddy?
Bills. And again, Bills by a lot.
Bills. Yep. Bills by a lot. It's gonna be a beating. Lorenzo, who you got?
Bills Mafia.
Bills Mafia. There you go. All the way. Yeah, I think that's kind of a common sense on that one, right?
They're about
Bills.
to Steelers win 6-3.
Yeah, right. Blowout. Let's see. Chargers versus Cleveland. Rios.
Chargers. I got Herbert on my fantasy team. I need another 4 touchdowns.
Okay, so you're gonna go with Chargers on that one? Okay. I'm gonna go with Cleveland on this one. Reason being is if the Chargers is if their people are still gone,
Yeah.
Well,
what I saw did. Yeah, well, yeah, both are still gone. Yeah, but if unless like Khalil Mack has another game just like he did against the Texans, then I could see LA winning. But right now, honestly, Nick Chubb is doing pretty well. So that's the main reason why. So I'm gonna go with. I mean, if we were able to make that much damage against the Chargers run defense with Damian Pierce, I think Nick Chubb is gonna run all over him. So that's for that reason. That's why I'm saying Cleveland. So I'm gonna take Cleveland on that one. Will, what about you, bud?
Yeah, I'll join you there with Cleveland. I don't know how this Chargers team is going to look, but I'm interested to see how the Browns can play them.
There you go. Lorenzo, who you got, bud?
I'll go Chargers on this one. I think Herbert. I think it depends, like you said too. If Keenan Allen's out, Mike Williams did pretty good stepping up whenever he was out with going against the Texans. Obviously,
Right.
Devin Singletary and everything. Not Singletary. Our cornerback. I can't even think of his name right now. Top of my head, but
yeah.
Derek Stingley.
Stingley, yeah.
There it is. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Gotcha.
I think I'll go with Chargers with this one. Justin Herbert he's a really good quarterback.
Yeah.
Even when
He
he's
is.
hurt.
We can't relate.
Never.
What is a good quarterback?
What is that?
Quarterback? Okay, here's the good one. Texans versus Jaguars.
That's the good one? Oh God.
I was being sarcastic.
I mean, I thought you were gonna say a good matchup. Yeah.
No.
I'm gonna go Jaguars. As much as it
Yeah.
pains me to say, but they got one of the top run defenses. They have a better quarterback. James Robinson. If you have him on your fantasy team, start him. Like this guy's gonna put up Barry Sanders numbers,
Yeah.
possibly
I'm gonna go
Bo
with-
Jackson
sorry.
Tecmo Bowl numbers. Because man, I think I could gain 100 yards in the Texans rush defense. Like it's bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna agree with you. I'm gonna go with Jaguars also. The Texans' defense is not dead last, right? But it's second to second. The Jaguars, like you said, Robinson's just gonna walk through like if it was an open door. So he's just gonna walk right through. So I'm gonna go with the Jaguars for that reason. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence has stepped it up a lot this year now that he doesn't have Urban Meyer holding him back. So I'm gonna go with the Jaguars also for that one. Will? All right.
Man, I thought you guys were Houston fans. I'm gonna take the Texans. Give me the Texans.
What?
Well,
I don't
Are
think
you watching
Jackson.
the
I don't
same
know.
thing?
I don't know.
Well, hold up. You mentioned the Giants were gonna win though, so I don't think we have much of it.
Hey, that ain't my team though. That ain't my team.
No, yeah, no, but we're being realistic. That's the difference. We're being realistic, and that's a big difference. Just speaking realistic terms, Jaguars definitely. But for you, you're on with Houston, right? Look at
Yeah,
you
I'm
having
going with
faith
Houston.
on these Texans too. All right.
They got to get a win
I'll
at
give you
some
that.
point. They got to get a win at some point.
Yeah,
it's
against
gonna be against the
bye week,
Cowboys.
probably.
We made a bet, so I need them to beat the Cowboys. I don't care if they lose every game. This beat the Cowboys.
Yeah,
The bet we made is if the Cowboys win, we all have to wear Cowboys jerseys and make it our profile picture. So I need the Texans to win that one.
Damn.
One game. That's it.
Yeah, it's not.
Better
I
give
don't
some
know what
money
we
to
were
them refs
thinking.
right
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me right now.
Yeah, right now, go fund me. Start. Do what you gotta do, Rios. Do what you gotta do. What about you, Lorenzo? Jacksonville or
now.
Houston?
Jags. I got Jags.
Yeah.
Christian Kirk too has been a really good receiver for them
Yes.
ever since getting
Yep.
that contract. So I would
Mhm.
say the Texans, if Mills could start throwing at Brandon Cooks, because I'm starting Brandon Cooks every game and he hasn't done nothing. But
Yeah.
last week he just got
Yeah.
a touch, I think, for his first
First
time,
one.
I think, this season. So
Yep.
Yeah.
if he could throw it to Cooks, it'd be a different story, but it doesn't look like that right now. So I mean, Christian Kirk's been we're Aggies too. Well, I'm surprised he didn't go with Kirk on Jacksonville.
Ooh.
You're just leaving our
Oh,
boy
we're the
Christian Kirk
Aggies
like that,
show.
man. But yeah, Jags, I
Dang.
got those.
Yeah. Well, there you go. All right. Let's see. Next up, we got Chicago versus Minnesota. Rios.
Minnesota by a lot. Chicago, they can't throw the ball. They can't throw the ball and they can't stop the run. Dalvin Cook, if he doesn't get injured, he's gonna have about 200 yards rushing.
Yeah.
I hope
I agree.
so.
I agree. I think the Bears' run defense wasn't as good either. So it's definitely I'm gonna go with Minnesota on that one as well. Minnesota by a good amount, just because of the same reason. Justin Fields doesn't throw the ball. He somewhat threw the ball against us and against the Texans, but it was still pretty low. I think he's got the lowest amount of yards right now, doesn't he? Or am
Let's
I
just
wrong here?
say, Cooper Kupp has more catches than he has throws attempted.
Oh my God.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, it's
Oh
pretty
man.
bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad. So Minnesota for me as well for that reason. The run defense and the fact that Justin Fields just hands it off to the running back. So we'll do that. Will, what you got?
Vikes.
Vikings, yep. Minnesota. All right. Will, excuse me, Lorenzo.
Vikes as well. I need Dalvin Cook to give me some points on fantasy. If not, I
Oh,
got
yeah, okay.
Alexander Madison on the bench just ready.
Right.
Ready to take that spot.
Exactly.
All right. We got Detroit versus Patriots. Rios, what you got?
We'll go Detroit. I think they blow out the Patriots. It's crazy. They have the top scoring offense, but the worst scoring defense. It's like James Winston's 30 for 30 season.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's right.
That's
right,
what
so,
the Lions feel like.
Yeah. No, definitely. I'm gonna go with Detroit also. I think the Pats are like I said, the Pats are not a good team this year. And I'm gonna go with Detroit for that same reason. I think Detroit's got a little momentum going on right now, so I'm gonna go with Detroit. So, Will, what you got?
I got the Lions. I got the Lions too.
Well, Detroit. There you go. All right, and Lorenzo.
Same thing. Lions. They've been playing
Yeah.
pretty good. I've been shocked.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, the whole world is in awe right now how good the Lions are. But you know the term, Lions are gonna lion, just like the Browns are gonna brown. So we don't know. We'll see what happens. It's always happens. Seattle versus New Orleans. Rios.
Man, another ugly game.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go New Orleans in a field goal fest, 9-3.
Wow.
New Orleans. I'm gonna go with Seattle on that one. I like Geno. I do. I like how he's been playing. Is it consistent? Not really, but he has he's been more consistent than our quarterback. So
That's not the same
You
much.
know,
That bar's pretty
true.
low.
it's not. But I'm gonna go with Seattle. I like how Geno's been playing here and there, and I've seen some good flashes on him. So I'm gonna go with Seattle on that one. Will, what you got?
Yeah, I'll take the Seahawks as well. I think, like you said, Geno's inconsistent, but I think he's starting to find his stride, especially with DK.
Mhm.
He's finally getting that
Yeah.
connection with DK, and that's coming along. And I think that'll really help him get some confidence and get some consistency.
Yeah, as long as he doesn't have to go to a restroom again and pull out in a cart. Y'all saw that?
That was a
He was getting
Yeah.
pulled out of the
man.
oh, what? He got pulled out in a cart. Oh, I'm over here like freaking out because I have him also on fantasy, and I'm like, oh man, don't tell me he's hurt. And he was like, I had to go to the restroom for the cart. I'm like, yo, we've all been there after in traffic, but geez, Louise, man, you couldn't have it, you couldn't hold it, I guess.
Well, the Paul Pierce.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, Lorenzo, who you got, bud?
I got Nola. I'm big fan
No.
of the Saints. They always support us, so why not support them?
Yeah. Okay, that's a good one. I'll take that. New Orleans. I have a lot of coworkers who are also Saints fans, so for them, I'm gonna. That's a good one. But I'm still going for Seattle, so that's gonna be. All right, next one. Miami versus the Jets. Rios.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go Jets. I think Zach Wilson, as he's demonstrated, has that dog. Just for that reason alone. Will not pick against Zach Wilson. Going Jets.
Good. All right, so you're gonna go for Jets for that reason. All right, you're Jets
good
for that
reason.
reason. You're going for it. Yeah, that's a good reason. I'm gonna go with the Jets for the same reason. So doing that, yeah,
Because he has the dog in
because
him.
he's got that dog in him. So there you go. Will, who you got? Miami or New
I got-
York? Tell me, excuse me.
I got the Jets.
Same reason.
Yeah, Zach Wilson's got that dog in him, and his skill players around him are starting
Yeah,
to get there
he
too.
does.
So
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Lorenzo, who you got?
I want to go to the Dolphins because I just picked up Teddy Bridgewater.
Mm,
Obviously, I picked up Trey Lance, and that just my quarterbacks have been a crap show. It's been bad.
oh no.
But no, I'll go Jets too. Same reason, dogging them,
All right. Dogging 'em.
hitting the gritty, and yeah.
And probably
All
because Giselle's watching now too.
Oh yeah, definitely. He has to put on a show.
Yeah, he's putting on the show for that. So there we go. All right, we got next up Atlanta versus Tampa Bay. Rios.
I'm gonna go Tampa. I think
Tampa?
Brady, he's
Okay.
gonna embrace a single life and show up with like a entourage of strippers.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so you're gonna go with Brady. I'm gonna go with Atlanta on that one, just because it's pretty bad because I have Tampa Bay as my defense. I'm gonna go with Atlanta. I'm iffy about Mariota. He's had some really good plays. I like his I like how he's been playing, and also the addition of Drake London, who I kind of wanted for the Texans at that point. I like what he's been doing with him. So I'm gonna go with Atlanta for that reason. I think Mariota is finding a little groove on him right now, which I'm glad because he clearly wasn't finding it with the Titans when he was there. So I'm gonna go with Atlanta for that reason. What about you, Will?
Yeah, I think I'll take Atlanta as well. I think the Bucks offense is just such a question mark right now. And
Yeah.
not that the Atlanta defense is anything incredibly special, but like you said, I think they're finding a groove. And they got their guys on. See, Cordell Patterson being out is going to hurt.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah. That's great.
again, I think that Tampa offense is just really going to hold them back, and I think the Falcons are in a good place to take advantage of it.
Okay. Lorenzo, who you got?
Got Tampa Bay. I mean, even though their offense is right now inconsistent, Mike Evans is still the top dog over there. He knows what he's doing. He's had a connection with Brady for a while. Chris Godwin, if he could get healthy, they could be an actual good offense, actually. So, and then Brady, of course, it couldn't happen mentally. It couldn't, he could have a dog in him himself going against the Falcons. So, and then two, Marcus Mariota did not do good for me last week. I had him and I had to drop him. So I'm gonna go with Brady on this one, Tampa Bay.
Okay. All right. I like that one. Okay, so now this one should be pretty much a no-brainer. Tennessee versus Washington. Rios.
Yeah, Tennessee. Much as it pains me to say it, yeah, Derrick Henry's hard to stop, and yeah, I think at one point during the game last week, I had more passing yards than Carson Wentz. So yeah, we're gonna go with Tennessee.
Tennessee. I have Derrick Henry on fantasy, and for that reason, I'm going for Tennessee, and that's my reason why. Because Derrick Henry, not stopping that man. Will, who you got, bud?
I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout by any means, but I'll take the Titans just because seeing Derrick Henry get going again is nice to see. But I think it's gonna be closer than most people are expecting. The Commanders could certainly make a run for it here.
Okay, valid point. Lorenzo, who you got?
I'm gonna disagree with all of you. I'm gonna go with Commanders on this one. They're at home. You just don't know when you might have that home field advantage. You might not know. But I mean, I'm looking for Carson Wentz to start looking for Terry McLaurin more. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Oh,
He just signed a big contract with Washington, and then now look how it's been with working with him. I mean, he has good receivers. He has Curtis Samuel. He has Jahad Dotson as well. He got obviously Scary Terry over there.
He's got weapons.
He has all the stuff, right? I mean, he's shown it when he was in Philadelphia, and then kind of that second half, he was like not showing it. But yeah, I think they're playing at home. I'm pretty sure they could. Hopefully, they could stop the run. They don't have the best defense, of course. See more J.D. McKissick, I think, with more passing as well with the rushing with Antonio. With him and Antonio Gibson getting that, in the backfield.
Okay, good one. All right, next up we got San Francisco versus Carolina. Rios, who you got?
San Francisco by a lot. I think Debo goes off again. I mean, that guy's he's starting to find his rhythm, and he's my favorite player to watch right now. It's just he can score from the backfield, he can score over the middle, he can score going, on a fly route. He's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, he's like a cheat code right now.
He is.
Yeah. Debo. All right. I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I'm gonna go with San Francisco also for that reason, because Debo Samuel, man, he's on another level. He's definitely, San Francisco did the right thing by keeping him. So that was I'll take I'll take the San Francisco 49ers against Carolina, because also I don't think Baker Mayfield is doing much to help out Carolina anyway. So
he's terrible.
He's pretty bad. Yeah. Will, who you got?
Yeah, I'll take the Niners too. But I think it may be a little closer. I know Sam Darnold is coming off injury pretty soon. Panthers are at home. 49ers just played Monday night. So I think it'll be a little bit of a sleepy game, but I don't know if the Panthers offense can get up and put enough on the board to keep San Francisco away.
Okay. That's a good one. I'll take that. Lorenzo.
San Fran. They got to find a way to get George Kittle involved too, man. I mean, it's been bad. He 2 straight games and he's had not that many targets. So I'm looking for Garoppolo to get back in that connection with him again. So, and then Matt Rule will be fired during the season. He is not going to stay in Carolina. Period.
No. Not at all.
I gave it to
definitely the hot seat. But I like how
week
you base everything on the bye week.
they switch quarterbacks. So that's typically when teams
Yeah.
make moves, because most teams have their bye like in the middle of the season. Ours is in week 6, which I mean can't really do anything. We're stuck with Mills the rest of the season.
Right. Hey, last week, like Kyle Allen was like warming up. You saw that?
They moved it for a second. We're like, nah,
Yeah.
that's not that. But
Yeah, he's like throwing on the sideline. He had his helmet on and everything. And
called the
I
timeout
was
for
like,
stop that.
oh, hold on. Yeah, they called a timeout. He was saved by the timeout, and then
You never know. He could come up and just start, slinging them. I mean, why not give him a try? I mean, Davis Mills. I mean,
At
we
this point.
gave him 4 games. Why not? We
Yeah.
could be 3-1 right now. But obviously, Josh Allen has more experience than Davis Mills. They're gonna try to
does.
continue his confidence, I'm guessing. So
See, and when we saw him at training camp, like we saw, he was pretty, like he was slinging it, which was good. It wasn't as accurate as you would want him to be, but he had, I still, no fear or whatever. He was like, oh well, I'm going to go somewhere else maybe next year, and so he was just slinging it.
But training camp, even in training camp, was just still checking it down, missing people over the middle, missing people deep. I'm like, well, this is practice.
Where are you, Rex?
yeah, that's what I was saying.
Rex.
Rex Burkhead. I mean, you're the savior right there. Why not just give it to him?
Exactly. All right, so this next game, I'm actually looking forward to. It might be a pretty good one. Philadelphia versus Arizona.
Ooh.
So, Rios, what you got?
I'm gonna go Eagles. Then they go 5-0. I mean, Jalen Hurts is from Channelview's H-Town. He wears his Astros.
Yeah,
so
H-Town. Yeah,
gotta go with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Philly also, for exactly the same reason you just said, because for the H, and also because he's my fantasy football quarterback. So
Nice.
I want those points. Will, who you got?
Philly or
Arizona?
I think the Eagles.
Eagles. All right, Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. What about you? Wait, hold on. Before Lorenzo. So, just out of curiosity, well, you've chosen the Giants and the Eagles. How you feel?
Hey, I'm good.
just making sure. I think the only one. I just have to make sure. I was like, all right. And for like a second, I was just thinking you were going to choose Washington as well, but you went with Tennessee. So, all right, making sure. All right, there we go. All right, Lorenzo, who you got, bud?
Fly, Eagles, fly. I think Jalen Hurts and that AJ Brown connection now looking real good. So, but yeah, like y'all said, he's from the H, Channelview boy. Yeah, I got him.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one. I think that's going to be, honestly, I'm thinking it's going to be one of those games where it's like high scoring game. That's just me on that one. They're both very, very, very mobile quarterbacks, which what I still believe is what is needed in this league now. You need to be able to extend those plays, because those pass rushers, man, you barely have a few seconds for that pocket to collapse, and you got to be able to extend those plays. So that's going to be a really good game for me. Now we got Dallas versus the Rams. Rios.
I'm gonna go with the Rams. One, because I hate the Cowboys, but also I think they have a bounce back game. I think they're gonna look at the film for San Francisco. They got beat pretty bad by a divisional rival. They're like, you know what, we got to figure something out. And I think they're going to try to scheme some stuff to protect Stafford and try to throw the ball to someone else besides Cooper Kupp. I mean, it's just a thought.
Okay, there we go. I'm gonna go with LA also, even though I do like the Dallas defense. I do, but I think the Rams pull off this one. Well, I'm intrigued here.
It's about them Cowboys, baby. It's about the Dallas Cowboys going to win that game. Listen, the Rams have no offense. The Rams have the third worst scoring offense in the National Football League, and they're going up against the Dallas defense. There's no chance. I think the Cowboys really hold it to them, get some revenge from that NFC wildcard a couple years ago. I think it's Cowboys all the way.
Cowboys, okay. Lorenzo, who you got?
Nah, we're going to LA.
Oh, wow.
Stafford and Cup, even though Diggs is their best corner over there. Nah, I think Cooper Cup's just he's a monster. He is a monster. Of
Yeah.
course, it looks like he has to put the team on his back. Allen Robinson still hasn't figured out anything over there. I'm shocked they still haven't gave Odell Beckham a call because
Yeah,
they have
same.
no receivers besides Cooper Cup. I think that's Matthew Stafford. It's either Cooper Cup or Tyler Higbee. I mean, them are the only two guys he really trusts. I'm surprised he don't trust Allen Robinson because Allen Robinson was a number one receiver not too long ago with the
Yeah.
Jacksonville Jaguars, and obviously being a little bit over there too with Trubisky and the Bears. But yeah, I think LA gets a revenge game, like Rios had said.
Okay. There you go. All right. Now we got the Sunday night game, Cincinnati versus the Baltimore Ravens. Rios, who you got?
That's gonna be the best game of the week, I think.
It's gonna be a good one too.
I'm gonna go with Joe Burr because I got Jamar Chase on my fantasy team. I need them to find that connection because man, he's been killing me this last few weeks. But the
Yeah.
Ravens, they have so many people on injury reserve in their defense, and they just can't hold a lead. And I think it's gonna be a very high scoring game. I think it's gonna come like a last second field goal, either in regulation or overtime.
Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. I'm gonna go for Cincinnati as well for selfish reasons. I don't have Jamar Chase, but I do have Higgins. So I hope he doesn't throw it to Jamar Chase. I hope he throws it to Higgins. So I hope you lose, Rios. I hope Jamar Chase gets no receptions, and I hope that Higgins gets all of them. So how do you feel about that?
Well, I got Justin Tucker as my kicker, so if he kicks 8 field goals, I'll be good with that too.
No one likes you. No one likes you.
850 yarders.
Yeah, right. 50 yarders. Yeah. Will, who you got, buddy? Cincinnati or Baltimore?
Baltimore.
Yeah, that's a tough one for me on that one. Baltimore. Yeah, Lamar Jackson. Goodness.
Video game numbers right now.
Yeah, video game numbers. Lorenzo.
Baltimore as well. I think this is a kind of like what Judge is doing in the MLB. He's doing the same thing for Lamar Jackson with the NFL, trying to show the Ravens, hey, look, this is what you're missing out on. Either you pay me up or I go free agency and test it out. Yeah, like Rios was saying, he has video game numbers. There was a game that he was leading rushing touchdowns. I think he had 2 or 3 over J.K. Dobbins. So I think, he's probably going to, it looks like right now he's the front guy almost for the MVP. I mean, we're like so early in the season, but if he continues to play like this, he's probably going to win another MVP.
Yeah. I will gladly take a Lamar Jackson. We'll trade them Davis Mills. We'll do that.
Davis
Mills picks.
The other half we got in the David Johnson Hopkins trade. I'm sure it's somewhere in the middle.
Tell Bill O'Brien to go over there first.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I want Bryce. He's succeeding in spite of Bill O'Brien, because I'm sure Bill O'Brien, he's going to trade him over, something ridiculous.
Oh man, I'm trading LSU. All right, so the last game of week 5, it's Las Vegas versus the Chiefs. Las Vegas versus the Chiefs. Now, Rios, go for it. Sorry.
Divisional games are always fun. They play each other a lot. They know each other's tendencies. They're always closer than they should be. I'm gonna go Chiefs. It's gonna be close, but I'm gonna go Chiefs just because Mahomes he's a cheat code.
Yeah.
You think you got him sacked, and then sides are just for like a 60-yard gain. So
there was a floater to the end zone.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I don't know if you I say this like a lot in the podcast. I used to be a Raider fan because I grew up in Northern California. So it was like either a 49er or a Raider where we were at. Nobody cared about the Chargers when they were in San Diego. So I always say that the Raiders are my second team. But realistically speaking, I'm gonna go with KC just because the Raiders look good on paper with Devontae Adams, Darren Waller as a tight end. they look good on paper, but they're just something is happening where it's not clicking, it's not meshing together well. So I'm gonna go with KC. Even though, yes, I do agree with Reels, it is a divisional game. It is one of those games where it should be pretty close because they do know each other. But right now, I'm really, even despite not having Tyreek Hill in that offense anymore, Patrick Mahomes has found a way to just ball out again this year. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs for that one. Will?
Yeah, I'll go with the Chiefs as well on a lot of points.
Yeah. Lorenzo.
I think I'm gonna go with the Raiders on this one. It's gonna be a high scoring game. It's always been a high scoring game when it's Derek Carr and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Chiefs defense is still not. I mean, they're not tough,
Yeah.
really. I mean, it's probably a top 25. I mean, 20 plus up. 10 top 10 worst defense. I meant.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think Devontae Adams is gonna get some looks. I think Darren Waller is gonna get a lot of looks. Obviously,
Hope so.
Derek Carr throws the ball a lot. So I mean, I got Devontae Adams too on my fantasy.
Yeah.
So
same.
for that reason, I think it's like y'all said, it's gonna be a high scoring game. It's a divisional game. Each opponent knows each other, but I'm gonna go with the Raiders on a close one.
All right. Well, there we go. All right. Well, that's been our week 5 predictions. We hope let's see how close we get to it. So well, guys, thank you guys for coming. It's about that
Yeah.
time. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you guys having on. You have to come back again eventually. So
Heck yeah.
thank you guys so much again. I'll keep listening to y'all's podcast. Rio started listening to y'all's, and I know our other co-host also listens to y'all too. So again, for those for our listeners, that's Full Steam Ahead on Twitter. What's your Twitter handle, y'all? Off the top of your
Yeah.
head.
At
Full steam ahead.
Oh, at Full
Mhm.
Steam Ahead. They're great content. They're gonna be covering, and again, perfect month to have them on in October since our Astros are playing. So all right, guys. Well, thank you guys for coming on and joining us. Go Astros. That's all I can say, really.
Yeah.
All
Thanks
right.
for having us. We're really
Yeah.
glad to make it happen.
For sure.
No, appreciate you guys. Thank you. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you again later on this week for our pregame show on Sunday. Thank you guys again. Peace.